boy. So how you doing?
Good.
So what do you
It's
think?
Tuesday.
Oh, we just getting started, right?
I know. I think I'd rather be in this position than not. A lot of,
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here live at the Democratic National Convention. And we have with us Paige Gardner, founding president of PSG, which stands for Paige S. Gardner, I presume, consulting. And you do work with Celinda Lake, which is one of the leading political and polling firms that the Democratic Party uses, correct?
Correct. She's an amazing, talented pollster, and I've worked with her for years. The data is excellent.
The data is excellent.
The data is excellent.
So we want to talk about women and the women electorate. Talk to us about that and what we're finding in terms of the women's vote.
Women will be a majority of the electorate, as they have been for years and years. And a key cohort is unmarried women. And unmarried women are a majority of all women in this country. So, in terms of overall the women's vote, since there has been a change in the ticket, there's a lot of motivation, and the support for Vice President Harris has grown from President Biden, so that was encouraging. That is encouraging, but there's still work to do. When President Obama ran in 2008, he got 70% of the unmarried women vote.
Really?
Yes.
Now, is that women of all backgrounds, race, and what have you?
Unmarried women of all backgrounds. The study we did was looking at unmarried women under 55, and they're a key group as well to get out and make sure that they vote. Marital status determines whether or not you register, whether you vote, and for whom.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, the marital status. How was that determined? How did we get to that point?
Well, using Celinda, we looked at married women versus unmarried women, and we asked ourselves, is marital status a factor in whether someone votes, or just a description? It turns out marital status does impact as a big factor in whether or not you vote, both for men and women, but there are more unmarried women. So so we learned how to target unmarried women, figure out how to reach them and talk to them about their issues and talk to them about their concerns, because they share many concerns with their married cohorts, but they've got unique issues to deal with. They're women on their own, and one healthcare crisis away from disaster.
You said something earlier. I'm sorry, Mark.
Wait, I've got to do this, Paige. Don't move. Congressman Scott is here. I know he's got to run. Share your mic with Bobby Scott, if you don't mind. Bobby Henry.
Bobby Scott.
You part of the roll call tonight, aren't you?
On behalf of the Commonwealth of Virginia, I'll be announcing the delegate vote for Virginia. So
that's great. That's a big deal. That's quite an honor.
That is a big deal.
How's that feel? I mean, this is not usual. You get to do this for the first black woman nominee.
That's true. And I'm the dean of the congressional delegation. I'm the longest serving member of the congressional delegation, and we got the honor through that seniority. But it is a big deal and great honor, and it's a historic occasion. You don't want to get over caught up in someone's ethnicity, because sometimes ethnicity doesn't always show what somebody may do. In Kamala's case, you have somebody who has been part of the Biden-Harris administration, creating jobs, creating educational opportunities, reducing healthcare costs, reducing drug costs, creating transportation initiatives. And one of the things about that infrastructure bill, it not only covered roads, bridges, tunnels, ports and airports, trains. It also covered money to eliminate lead pipes. Something that lead poisoning destroys opportunities in young people's lives. We're getting rid of those as part of the infrastructure battle. The CHIPS and Science Act, bringing manufacturing back to America, fighting for our rights. And she's been part of that, fighting for voting rights, reproductive rights, workers' rights, LGBTQ rights, rights that the other side have been trying to sabotage all along. And so you have somebody, you first want to, before you start celebrating, you want to make sure the person is on the right side of the issues, and Kamala Harris is right there.
She's been doing all of that. You're also on the Education Committee.
I lead the Democratic side on the Education and Workforce Committee.
What will President Kamala Harris do for education?
Well, one of the things that we need to do is enhance job training opportunities. A lot of people are at minimum wage jobs, but have the capability to make a lot more if they can obtain the skills. We have the committee on a bipartisan basis has already reported a bill to significantly increase investments in job training, but also another bill to allow Pell Grants to be used for short-term programs. Right now, if it's not a college course, essentially a college course, can't use a Pell Grant. A lot of these short-term courses, 6, 8, 12, 16 weeks, can lead to extremely rewarding careers. And we need to make sure that people have that opportunity. Now, those courses may cost a couple of $1,000s, and if you don't have a couple of $1,000s handy, then you can't go. But the Pell Grant can eliminate that barrier and transform people's lives from a minimum wage worker to one that with overtime can make six figures.
That's very, very important. Congressman Scott, I know you got to run, but I'm glad we heard from you.
Thank you, Mark.
Just saw Terry McAuliffe. He's saying Virginia's going to go blue.
I don't think there's any question about it. The polling has stabilized, and we're back up well above the margin of error, and I think we're in pretty good shape.
On the lighter side, getting ready to make this announcement, have you been practicing your in the ring voice? Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Okay. I'm ready. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate it, Bobby.
Okay. Bobby Scott. Back here with Paige Gardner.
Okay.
So, Paige, this is fascinating. Tell us more about unmarried women and what influences. What are some of the things that are important to them in terms of the choices that they make?
First of all, if a candidate supports their ability to decide when and whether they'll have a family, is very important. Housing costs for them are onerous, and so rent and the cost of housing must be dealt with. And Vice President Harris's proposal went to that and spoke to these women. And then their food prices, and it's just the cost of living. They want to make ends meet, and they want to, feed their children if they have children. Yeah. They are, and to pick up on Congressman, they need a raise in minimum wage in addition to skills, new skills. And so the minimum wage stalemate, or the fact that it hasn't really changed that much, is one of the hardest burdens they suffer under.
Okay, Paige, earlier you said that things are critical and it's not going to be easy. If you had a magic wand, what would be one of the things you would use that wand to wipe out so that unmarried women or those who are struggling could actually have a foothold? What would that be?
I would wipe out all the barriers that the MAGA Republicans are putting in place now to stop people who have marginal lives, some people who have marginal lives, from voting. I mean, they can't take off 10 hours or 5 hours to stand in line. They have to be at their child care center, or else they get fined every 5 minutes that they're late. So we can't be in a country where unmarried women, the majority of women, literally can't afford to vote.
Wow, that's literally can't afford to vote.
If they don't have the day off, they gotta go to work. If
You gotta go pick up the kids.
yes, and
Yeah.
they have to pick up the kids. And if you're late, as a mother, I know this. You better be there on time, or
That's stressful.
you're paying.
That's stressful. That's stressful. Reconcile this. What did unmarried? Well, let me ask you a question first. What did unmarried women do in 2016? We know, and a lot of people are regretting that now. Women went with Trump. What did unmarried women do? How reconcile?
Unmarried women did not vote in majority for Trump, but they did not have strong enough support for the Democratic ticket. As I said before, President Obama got 70%. Right now, Vice President Harris is getting 54%. And that includes white unmarried women. They're one of the few groups where whites are supporting the Democrats. So there's work to do. They need to be motivated. And the Democrats, particularly the president, Vice President Harris, needs to talk to these women and understand their lives.
Yeah. Because potentially, if you do that, that number goes up.
Yes, it absolutely goes up. They just want, there's an anecdote that we say that most of the campaign literature has a married man and women, beautiful, white, with the two perfect children. That isn't their life.
Yeah. Quickly, Eddie, because we got to go. The number in the 50, you say it's 54% at the moment. 54% at the moment for white unmarried women, 56% overall, all unmarried women. Was that before or after?
After.
After the housing announcement?
After the Harris announcement, excuse me.
The Harris announcement.
Yes.
But we haven't polled yet after she announced the other day what her economic plan.
No, that's exactly right.
Right. So that number might. Got it. Okay.
She is saying all the right things to these women when she talks about housing and economic issues.
Great.
If I could, we have all of these entities for Harris. You know, we got black men, we got used to be Republican. What could unmarried women offer? If they don't have the money, what could they offer to be supported?
Turn out and vote.
That's right. Paige Gardner, so good to meet you. Keep up the good work. So you're going to be polling some more. You're going to be doing some more work, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Come back and tell us what it's all about, what's happening.
I will.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, we're live at the Democratic National Convention in these chairs, in these stadium chairs. Folks are having a hard time with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We are live and direct. We're going to get the mayor up here. The mayor of Baltimore is also here. And I need to be sure my phone doesn't die because it's not charging, y'all, for some reason. Not quite understanding that. Y'all bear with me. Let's see here. Is that working now? Here we go. Now it's charging. I don't know what. Oh, really? Okay. All right. We're joined now by Don. Do me a favor. Move that mic on the end out of the way because it's not working. And Bobby and Ben going to share that mic. The mayor of Mayor here with us, Mayor Baltimore. Mr. Mayor, how are you, sir?
I'm great, sir. How are you, brother?
Fine. So what's
Getting better.
are you a delegate?
I am a delegate.
So let me ask a question. Would you be, because you're mayor, would you be a super delegate?
No, I'm not. I'm not a super delegate. I'm just a delegate. I'm just a delegate to make sure that I do what's needed to be done.
And what's that needs to be
And
done, my
that's to
brother?
make sure that my duly elected incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris becomes the next president of these United States.
And listen to a young man.
Yes.
Mark, before we start the interview, we first have to congratulate you. We just got married.
Oh, what?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Where's the bride?
She and the baby, they are having fun in Chicago while I'm working. So
Okay, well, congratulations,
My
my
mother-in-law
brother.
lives here, so
Okay.
they're good. They're good.
So the bride is home with mom.
Yeah,
And
they.
to
There's
see-
no telling where they are, but they're having fun.
Well, we're proud of you, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're serving the city of Baltimore like no man has done in recent years, and a source of pride, a source of integrity, a source of power. We talked to the governor earlier today. So, man, Maryland boy.
I'm telling you.
Proud.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that there's a lot of thinking now to make sure that we get Sister Osborne,
Oh, we gonna get it done.
become the senator.
Yes.
In Maryland. But just want to, on behalf of the
She's
Black
speaking
Press,
tonight.
thank you for your leadership.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How are things looking for Angela Osborne?
Listen, we're gonna win.
Is that going to happen?
We're going to win. But we will not allow a man who literally canceled a subway line in Baltimore City, sent out a map of the state with transportation projects that didn't have the city of Baltimore on it, to become our next U.S. Senator. We cannot follow up with having Ben Cardin, someone who just believes Baltimore every day, who's led this country in a such a dignified way, with someone who governs by press conference. We won't do that.
So what can you do to put something in the bottle that Baltimore has that these other cities that really need?
Well, I don't know about the swag, but you can buy some Obey. We'll send some of that to you. It's really, I think that we're in a wonderful time in our state, right? When you have that convergence of leadership, and it's about, because I know for me that I stand on the shoulders of folks like Clarence Burn and Kurt Smoke, who did so much, so that I can now be able to be in this position and do my forever Congressman Elijah Cummings, the person that gave me my voice, literally, Congressman Nfume, that now I saw that as a young man growing up, and now I know that it's okay to be a proud black man who just happens to be an elected official, and be unapologetic about that, because they have paved such a great path for me, and it's my responsibility to pave an even greater path for those coming behind me.
Okay. That's very, very important, my brother. We know that the Biden administration has done a lot for infrastructure. You mentioned what the governor didn't do. But can you talk about what Biden-Harris has done to help your city?
Where do you want to start? I'll take it back to the most pressing issue that folks always think about Baltimore, and that's gun violence, right? This public health issue that our city has faced for longer than I've been alive.
Right.
And when I came into office, that was my focus. In fact, that's what drove me to wanting to be in public office, because the first time I saw somebody get shot, I was like 6 or 7 years old, and no one cared, right, about my neighborhood, the neighborhood that holds the Preakness every year. Never. But when we have this presidential administration, I actually was a part of that first meeting with the president early in June in 2021 about what they were going to do on public safety, and myself and other mayors telling him that we needed to be able to use federal funding, offer it otherwise, to do violence intervention, not just police work, that we needed him to go out and say that violence was a public health issue, and he did it. And they unlocked so much for so many of us that we're now in Baltimore. Last year, I had a 20% reduction in homicides, the largest reduction that we've ever had until this year, and we're at a 29% reduction. We would not be able to do all that great work without the Biden-Harris administration. And I think people have to understand that, right? All these investments that we're making, we've opened 4 rec centers since I've been the mayor of Baltimore City, with 5 more under construction. Many of them are in partnership directly with the Biden-Harris administration, changing neighborhoods consistently, employment programs, all of these things that helped us have our lowest unemployment ever a couple years ago. And this is why I have been so staunchly in support of this presidential administration, because I have never seen the help that we have from the federal government like we have under this presidential administration. And of course, the best congressional delegation the mayor can ask for in the Maryland delegation.
Man, that's so impressive. Rec centers. When you think of rec centers, you think of in the hood stuff.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking about.
But to have an administration that's willing to put the monies back in there, and then for you guys to come in and take it and do something with it. Hell, in Florida, man, we turning summer food programs are down.
Yeah, we funded food, extended our food programs with it. We've done so much with that money. We ran a guaranteed income pilot for young families with our ARPA dollars, right? Them allowing us to do that, showcasing that when you give folks that are struggling money, they're not going to go waste it on things. They're going to get a new house, get their car fixed. We have to continue to support this administration. And that doesn't even, I haven't even touched about what they're doing for us as far as the bridge and all of the things that we have to go through as a city with the Trinity Bridge trade.
Yeah. My brother, we
Thank you
appreciate
very
you,
much.
man. You're doing
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Congrats on the family.
Thank you so much.
And the marriage.
Thank you.
All right,
This
Mayor.
guy came from Broward County. Yeah, thank you.
Mayor Brandon Scott. Keith, move that mic back over there. I want to try something because that other mic's not doing too well. Folks, we're trying to get these mics straight, and we're going to be joined momentarily by Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver as well. We are live here at the DNC. No, move it down. Put it right next to that one. Put it right next to that one. That one, put it right next to that. Leave that there. And put that one right next to that one. Yeah, put it on the other side of it. The other side. There you go. All right. There you go. Okay. Yes, sir. Joining us now is the great Congressman. Come up a little bit closer because I want to get you close to the mic. The great Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver is we're live at United Center where Michael Jordan and the Bulls play. Michael Jordan used to play. Emmanuel Cleaver joins us now. Hey, bro, good to see you again, man.
Well, good to be here with you.
We always see each other in the right
That's
place.
right, all over the country. Whatever's going on with black people need to be there. As of there, and run into you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, man, and it's good to see you. How you feeling about this convention so far?
Well, I've been to, this is my 5th convention, and I've spoken at 3 of the 5. I have never, ever had the emotional ride that I took last night.
Really?
It was very emotional for me. Maybe I'm just getting old, but when Biden's daughter introduced him, man, that was, I mean, as a father, I have one daughter, that just, I mean, it got to me, and I looked around, and people all around me were having the same experience, and Joe Biden was having the same experience. He had to borrow a Kleenex from his daughter to wipe his eye.
Yeah.
So it was powerful, and so I thought he did a good speech, a little long. But it was nonetheless good, and you know that was his last time speaking to the country like he did. You know, I'm sure he'll have a parting statement from the White House in January, but this is it. So, you know, I needed some sleep, but I thought he deserves this because he did something that a lot of human beings wouldn't have done. He put in the best interest of the country ahead of what he felt was the best interest of himself, which was to stay in the race.
But now, the Black Caucus actually was not in the camp of discouraging him from running. You all was going to stay with him, ride him all the way, right?
We were going to stay with him, and I hope people around the country. Well, you're at the Black Press. You would have noticed it more than others, but you know. We danced with the one who brung us, and look, the inner city needed that infrastructure bill more than anybody else. We need the child tax credit more than anybody else. We needed and when you look at the incidence of diabetes with black people and brown people, we needed the $39 cap. So we stayed with him, and people were lobbying us all day, every day. Would you guys make a statement? And we knew that if we made a statement, some others were going to jump in. And some of the people who, like me, I thought the Biden should step down. But I would be with him right now had he not made that decision himself. And I thought we owed that to him. To make that decision. I was one of the first people to endorse him. Jim Clyburn, one of the last people, but his endorsement propelled him through the primaries. I mean, and he's acknowledged that publicly and privately. And why would we? I mean, I have people in Missouri right now who I recommended to the administration to be the regional administrator for HHS, for HUD, for the EPA, all the federal agencies, and they're people of color. So, I mean, why would I kick him when he was down?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. But was also sort of understood in that process is that if he did, there was no way you all were going to allow them to leapfrog over
That's right.
your former CBC member and the vice
right.
president, because some folk wanted to do that, didn't they?
Yes. I mean, I had people coming to me saying, look, we think we need to open this up and have a primary in every region, like seven regions in the country. Because we were running on time, like we could have three conventions, 7 conventions. We'd have a convention in every region, and they said so we can give other people a chance. And oh, absolutely not. We're going to have a war. Kamala Harris is the vice president, and we're not going to allow you to jump over her. I mean, all of us were in on that. We had one member of the Black Caucus who actually called for the president's resignation or stepping down, but nobody thought that. Not even the one person who stepped away would have been comfortable saying, well, we're going to go open up and have a bunch of conventions to get us a good nominee. No, we have a good nominee. And the president thought she was good enough to make his vice president. And that would have torn up this party.
Yeah. And I don't even know how you do that logistically, Congressman. How in the world would they put together 7 different, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
In 4 months.
Yeah. But their plan was we would have a convention every week up until the end of this month. And
honestly, sound like some folks wanted some contracts to put some conventions on. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, people like that.
They like that guys, right?
And then someone probably been drinking a lot and you maybe doing other things because that wasn't going to happen. And they knew that if they tried to do that, and the Black Caucus, 60 members strong, stood up and said, "Oh no, you do this and you lose us."
What needs to be done to win this?
Well, I think enthusiasm is the mother's milk of political success, and the enthusiasm is here. We have the enthusiasm. What we're going to have to do is exactly what we did during the Obama first election, but we're going to have to organize women, and this is a good opportunity for the church to use those church bands. We got to take, in Missouri, for example, we have 2 items on the ballot that are magnetic, will bring people out, women, abortion rights,
right,
and 2, minimum wage. That's going to bring out people who would not. Bo Willie is going to come out and vote because he doesn't like making $7.25.
right,
and also the grandmothers who resent somebody telling their granddaughters that if they are raped, they have to take the baby to maturity. That's the pregnancy to maturity, and I think those people are going to turn out, and we might slip up on Senator Hawley.
Mm-hmm. So, concentrate. You're in the middle of the country, Kansas City, Missouri.
Put that mic closer, man. I need you to get the mic closer. The other one. That one right, the one on the here.
Kansas City, Missouri. First of all, we want to thank you for your leadership, your long-term leadership. The question I want to ask you, just 2 simple questions. One is, what's your perspective of Generation Z, the millennials? Are they going to come out and vote? And then 2, the diversity of this convention. I was here in 1968. It's a whole different vibe in the city and in terms of who's inside the convention. Mm-hmm. I see all these brothers and sisters as delegates, black women running the convention. Just talk about from your perspective of how diversity has strengthened the Democratic Party.
Yes.
While the other across the aisle, they're trying to become exclusionary while we're becoming inclusionary.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I think it's important. I have millennials. I gave birth to some, Lord help. And look here, Doctor. We on Thanksgiving, last Thanksgiving, November, we're all around the Thanksgiving table. You know, people. I raised these people. I changed their diapers. So my my daughter started talking about Genocide Joe, and you know, we're not going to deal with it. What did you say? And so, thank God, when President Biden confirmed publicly that his nominee was Kamala Harris, it changed overnight. I could show you a text from my son who was way out there. It was one word: cool, and an exclamation point. And that's what I've noticed all around. All these young people are coming in and they're fired up. And if you look at the polling, Trump is not. I mean, he's right where he always has been. He hasn't lost any people. Right. What's happened is the African Americans and the millennials have come on aboard with the Democratic Party, and so I think that's very healthy. The other thing is, I sat there last night and looked out over the crowd, and I thought, oh my goodness, Fannie Lou Hamer and you know Fred Shuttlesworth, some of the people who guided us would just, I mean, be thrilled that they could look out there and see, not just sitting out there in seats, but in every event on the stage had inclusivity, every event. And you just start to think, oh my goodness, I think we have put on display, you know, the dichotomy between republicanism and democratism, and that we are intentional in our inclusivity. And I love it. I think we're going to have more and more people drifting to the party. Now, you know, the Republicans are going to get black people. I mean, we've always had, well, there are always going to be some, but the majority of African Americans and brown people are going to be with the Democratic Party. And I'm so glad that you saw that, saw that as well, because I said that almost brought tears to my face.
Yeah. Congressman Cleaver, we won't take much more of your time, my brother. It's good to see you. You know, Latasha?
I do. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for what you're doing. I'm telling people, without the black press, I never would have become mayor of Kansas City without the black press. When I started running for mayor, I'm doing this shortly. Sure.
Take your time.
When I started running for mayor, the Kansas City Star wrote an article, there is no Cleaver campaign. Well, I only had $132 that my wife had given me, and she said she wanted it back if I lost. But, you know, but the Kansas City Call newspaper, where Roy Wilkins was a Cub reporter, they said you can win, and they started writing articles and you know, evening things out, and so we can lose a lot of things. We cannot lose the black press.
Right. Thank you, brother. So good to see you, man.
Good to be here.
See you doing the roll. So are you leading the roll call tonight? Or you?
I am.
You leading the roll call tonight? Natasha, go move you over here. Move you right to my left.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, as we are here. Yes, ma'am. I guess. I don't know. What do you mean? I might miss something.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need something?
Oh, no, I'm good. Take it. All right. Where's Troy?
All right.
Troy, sit right here. Troy, you got a minute? Come on, man. Come on, sit down. All right, folks, we're live here at the DNC. All right. And we've got joining us here, sitting at the table, we've got none other than the great and wonderful Latasha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, is here, and Congressman Troy Carter of Louisiana. My brother, how are you?
I'm doing well, brother. Great to be with you.
All right, you doing a roll call tonight?
I am, yes indeed. Can't wait.
You be announcing.
I'll be there.
That's right, that's wonderful. Latasha, you a black woman.
That's right.
We about to nominate a black woman. That's no big thing, is it?
You know what?
Let me tell y'all something. Latasha, if Latasha don't do nothing else being Chambers, she gave us the quote of life when they were even considering leapfrogging over Kamala. Before y'all even said something, Latasha went public and says if they do that, they gonna F around and find out. And I think within 48 hours that was resolved, wasn't it? That was
received. Right. They understood the assignment.
We were standing right there with you.
Absolutely.
So how you feeling about this?
I'm actually feeling really good about it. I mean, part of it is movement did this.
Yeah.
And we have to really recognize this didn't just happen a few weeks ago. This has literally been decades in the making. Right? There have been a lot of sisters and brothers that have sacrificed for this moment, right? For us to actually be in this moment. And so I'm feeling really full around. I'm thinking of the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, right? I'm this very place that black folks couldn't even be seated at the DNC. Now you got a sister that's cheering it. You got a brother who's a chair of the party. You've got the sister that's over credentials, Marsha Fudge. You've got Donna Brazil. You got black folks have found a way, and sisters in particular.
60 members of the Congressional Black
And you got
Caucus.
60 members of the Congressional Black Caucus. So this movement did that. This is what happens when we show up for our communities. We actually build a pathway to build power in this country.
Well, and now that, Latasha and I have been involved in some discussions with folks. We won't get all in there right now. But I want people to keep this in mind, too. This literally was movement. Because let's go back to 2020. When the Biden administration was looking for a running mate or the Biden campaign, Kamala was not the first choice.
That's right.
And then Christopher Dodd said, well, we're going to disqualify her because she's too ambitious. Which you really can't say that even in the workplace. That's a sexual discrimination lawsuit right there. What do? Thousands of black women signed a letter. Thousands of black men signed a letter. And they got that message too.
Right.
Picked her as the vice president. 2024, there were folk who didn't even want her in the picture when he dropped out. What do? The movement said she gonna be the nominee. So this is very unique in and of itself, because here's someone that the establishment, so to speak, said this is not who we really want, and the movement acting said no, this will be the person. And I don't know how often that has happened in history. Not to mention the fact, Congressman, when this happens, no one has done this in 4 months.
No.
That's when you have to know that God's hand is in the midst. Everything had to line up for us to be at this moment, including as painful as it was for us to watch our President Joe Biden, do as poorly as he did on that Thursday night. All of those pains, all of those faux pas had to happen to give birth to what God wants to happen, and that is Kamala Harris is going to be our first African-American president of the United States of America. Those components of the blood, sweat, and tears that our sister just spoke of, the showing up early, staying late, being there when we were told we couldn't or shouldn't, and we refused to leave, the freedom riders of Dr. Chavis and the work of the commitment that he and so many others made. We cannot forget that we stand tall on shoulders like Dr. Chavis, who's still with us and able to receive his roses while he's living.
And still working.
And has not put down the baton. Is still running as he passes to the next. It's all of those things that we celebrate today. And as I said to someone earlier today, as Jesse said in 1988, was it 88? 88. You can't hope me in, you have to vote me in. And so while we're at the cusp of greatness, we can lose it.
Yeah.
Even those who are on the right track will get run over if you just sit there. So we have a responsibility to motivate our brothers and sisters to get out, to vote, to not count the chickens before they're hatched. This race is ours, but a lot of people paid a lot of dues for us to be here. And like any production, oftentimes people come, they enjoy all the work that's been done, and they think it was easy. No, there's a lot of groundwork that got us to this day. There are a lot of soldiers that you will never see, and people will never get a chance to thank. But had they not been where they were, we wouldn't be where we are.
That's right.
What's your message to black women voters, particularly young black women at this hour?
We have to really understand what this moment is. This moment isn't just about Vice President Kamala Harris, even though we are excited about having a black woman lead the ticket. This really is around for all of the women, all of the men and women, but particularly the sisters who literally led the suffrage movement, right? And their white sister counterparts abandoned them. It wasn't until 50 years later, right, when we saw a Shirley Chisholm, right, that in many ways, even there were people in her own communities that abandoned her. But she took that every time that we make a step to create change, it opens up opportunity for all of us. And so there's also a message around when people come for your communities, like, listen, let's just go on the ground with this. That when people come for us, we've got to return the favor in kind. That when you come for us, when you tell the last institution on the face of this earth that need to tell black women about our bodies, you mean the government that literally used our bodies and enslaved us, that had us nursing other folks' babies on the breast that was on our breasts, on the milk that was supposed to be for our children, while you sold our children, that you think that under no circumstances should this government have any right over the say of a black woman or any woman's body, but particularly a black woman. And so we got to send a message, if nothing else. If nothing else, we got to send a message. If you come for us, we coming for you. And so this is a space that it goes far beyond about this election. It goes far beyond about, yes, we're going to celebrate because we need to celebrate that we're going to have this sister in office, but we're going to send a message that ever you come for us, that there is going to be a consequence to pay. And so we've got to come out in mass to send that message loud and clear.
I knew Natasha when she was a teenager.
That's right.
And I saw in her, while she was a teenager, that she was a freedom fighter. The leadership development, the mentorship. You know, the greatest mentor teaches the mentee to become the new mentor. And so, Natasha, I just want to salute you for all of what you've done and continue to do with Black Voters Matter. I see how you've uplifted the spirits of our people. Sometimes we become not just hopeless, that sometimes we become so heavy laden with the pressures of life itself. But when Natasha Brown shows up, you know, the forces that would come at us retreat because they can't deal with the fierceness and the force of righteousness that our community has. But we have to summon that.
We have to summon it.
You know, and I just want to thank you for continuing to summon that energy, to summon that power, to summon that aspiration. This is a different Democratic Party.
That's
a
right.
Different convention. They don't mean we're perfect, but we're making progress forward.
Yes, sir.
And as you make progress forward, we can deal with some of these other issues around the world.
That's right.
You know, all is not lost.
That's right.
And that's why I think we will come out of this convention stronger than ever. But we got to keep that momentum through November.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to jail again in Georgia. I'm going to get a truckload of water.
Come on.
You know, I'm passing out water in the elections and dare them to arrest me.
You know, I want to say to you too, I'm so grateful to God to actually be in a space and be in a relationship with you, because I'm inspired by the work. Like every time I feel like, because sometimes I get tired. I'm like, when we are fighting all the time, and then I'm looking, I was like, I'm gonna get tired, right? And these brothers and sisters that have been on the front lines for years and decades, right? Because that's why we got to do this movement in a way that we recognize is beyond the politics. It's not been about the strategy of the movement. It's been about the spirit of the movement.
That's right.
We have to really recognize that our higher power, that ultimately, that my freedom ain't about what the U.S. Constitution gives me. My freedom is what God created me. That as a human being, I should have a right on every decision being made about me and my family. God has given me that right to be able to feed into that. And then we've got to really demand that. And when we get our people to actually just tap into and to believe in their own humanity, then that's when you're Harriet Tubman. And even though you can't read or write, you can follow a star and not only free yourself, but free others, hundreds of other people, because there's something in you that can't be stayed. There's something in you that can't be entertained. There's something in you that can't be broken. And if to the extent that they try to break it, what it does is you just breaking me open, right? You breaking me open for greater and more. And so if our people recognize, and I'm hoping that we recognize, even in this election cycle, that our work work, we are changing. We're not just changing. You know, when I think about the founders of this country, there's one group of folks that I think about. But when I think about the founders fundamentally of democracy, we believe in a democracy that white folk didn't even believe in, right? We believe in some of the tenets in this Constitution that said that every man was created equal and endowed by their Creator. They didn't believe that. We did. Right, and that's what fueled our fight, and we actually made that be real and continue to make that be real, which is why we stand with our Palestinian brothers and sisters, which is why we stand with our brothers and sisters in Congo, why we stand with, because at the end of the day, it will not be our politics that's going to save us, it will be our humanity. And one way to express that is to utilize this tool of voting to really be able to use our agency and say, no, we're not doing that.
So the Reverend Dr. Latasha Brown.
Yeah. Well, you know, Cliff's a preacher too. I don't know what they're playing around with. After a while, and you know, and see, we're in the ministry. So what happens is, after a while, when you preaching and you saying I'm not a preacher, that's really called jackleg preaching.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So you don't want to be no jackleg preacher. That's not a good thing to be. So we need to get them. We need to figure, once we get past this, we need to work this out. So she said, and then she sings. She, you know, she.
I'm a follower of Christ.
She's
the ministry, all of us have a ministry.
She's Shirley Caesar Jr. She's Shirley Caesar Jr. too. She busts right out. Okay, I'm gonna say this shit before we let you go. We asked you what is your message to young black women. What's your message to young black men?
Young black men, brothers, we need you. Point blank, we need you. That in order for our communities to go forward, it has always, don't let this media separate us and make us divided. We have never approached that like other communities. It has always been black men and black women coming together, like literally, when we are in the field, we were in the field together, right? When we were going through that experience, even in slavery, right? When a sister had been violated, it was her man that she needed to come with her. When a man had been beaten or dehumanized, it was his woman that came and actually gave comfort. And so at the end of the day, we have to really recognize that it's a gift for us to do this work together. That as we move forward, we're going to have to move forward as a community. And yes, we need you, brothers. We need our brothers to get the brothers. There can't nobody get the brothers like the brothers get the brothers. So you need, at the end of the day, we're not going to listen to folk who actually are trying to hurt and harm us. At the end of the day, let me just break this down.
Come on.
You think it's that sister, when stuff get bad, you're going to depend on this white Republican or this sister. Let's be honest. At the end, I'm saying this. I'm saying this in the context of there's an effort by those that actually have hated and have done things to destroy the men and the women in our community to actually exploit the pain. We know you're in pain. We all feel it. We understand that what is happening in this country. We can see how they have actually went after our men, particularly our young men, to try to dehumanize them for mass incarceration, to try to literally everything that you've been trying to do in many ways, and we understand that pain. But this is a moment why we got to go even deeper and resist. So we have to realize that we see it, we know what it is, we get together and resist. And whenever we have resisted, we have actually won. We have made progress.
That's right.
Every single time. It may not come when we want it. It may be years later, but whenever we have resisted, we have actually pushed forward.
And the years don't matter, because our ancestors, some of them went to the grave in bondage.
That's right.
But even then, they believed that the next generation would come.
We here.
And every round would go higher and higher. So that's what we got to do. Love
Right.
you.
Love you too.
Are you speaking tonight?
No.
You want to? I was going to make a call.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Latasha.
I appreciate you.
Black Voters Matter make the difference.
Black Voters Matter. Go to our website.
How many states you going to deliver?
We're going to deliver 12 states, but we might go and go.
Include Georgia?
Oh, Georgia.
Can we get Georgia?
Oh, yeah, come on.
What about Florida?
Florida might be in play, but Florida kind of tricky.
Well, I'm right here.
But
You right here.
Yeah, he's
You got Florida.
But see, women though.
You got Florida. You come. Okay.
But women,
You got Florida, you
Latasha,
got Georgia.
Roe is on the ballot. That's got to count for something.
Oh, I think it is going to be amazing, but they're a little tricky.
Yeah, but that's true. That's
so
true.
part of my issue, I also want people to recognize is that this election is not going to be over on November 5th. There's a reason why Trump is not out campaigning.
Because he already got
a whole nother trick around. They're literally saying we're seeing laws in places like Georgia around literally certifying the election results. That they just passed 2 laws in the last month around certifying, creating a process that at the election boards can, if they decide that something looks fishy, they can refuse or they can put down certification. So we have to really recognize that this is an end game. We got to follow it out. That's why we got to be overwhelming with the vote to make it much, much harder for them to steal it, because he's already put that plan in place.
Yeah.
All right, thank
Good
you.
to see you,
All right,
Latasha Brown.
All right, brothers.
Folks, we're going to take a pause for the cause. We'll be back live. We're going to try to bring you the roll call live, everything tonight. Don't go away. All right, we'll be back.